You are watching Dangerous News Network, and this is Daniel McFarland. And tonight's topic is the Detroit Tigers against the Oakland A's. Now, the Tigers lost the first two games against the Oakland A's. This is not the New York Mets. I can tell you that much. The New York Mets, they couldn't hit their way out of a wet paper bag right now. That's why the Tigers were able to sweep them. And plus, we had Max Scherzer, we had Doug Fister and Anibal Sanchez. Well, not Anibal Sanchez. We had Anibal Sanchez against the Oakland A's, and he had a bad game. Well, that's something we don't expect, but it happened. But a number two pitcher does occasionally have a bad game or two. That shouldn't happen with the Rays. Verlander, on the other hand, he is not suitable to start in the playoffs. I think the Tigers will make the playoffs because the competition is nothing in the Central Division. All we got to do, all the Indians have to do is stumble, and all we got to do is beat the Kansas City Royals to a pulp. And his history. But the playoffs is a whole new animal. And Verlander, he has shown he's not going to help the Detroit Tigers in the playoffs as a starting pitcher. He needs his ass in the bullpen. That's the truth. Now, let's look at the lineup. The Oakland A's have learned how to pitch around Miguel Cabrera. The Tigers better hope that Prince Fielder heats up. Prince Fielder, he better heat up. Because if Prince Fielder doesn't heat up right now, this is going to be detrimental to the Detroit Tigers in the long run. Well, the playoffs, I should say. This is going to be a detrimental fall for the Detroit Tigers if Prince Fielder does not heat up. Because you got to get that woman out of the way. Get your marriage drama out of the way, Prince Fielder, and Justin Verlander. Get that woman drama out of the way. If Verlander were to pitch out of the bullpen and we let Porcello start as a number 4 starter, well, this would give him the playoffs and the offseason to get that whatever drama he's dealing with. We don't know, Kate Upton, whatever. Verlander is just going to have to get whatever drama that is out of the way. But we might be stuck with him for the rest of his contract. But if I was Dave Dombrowski, I would get rid of the Verlander contract as soon as I can. But the problem is there probably won't be many takers, and there might not be any takers. But if there is, take whatever you can get, unload that contract. That way, you can save that money for Miguel Cabrera and Max Scherzer. But I would sell Max Scherzer as soon as I might sell Max Scherzer or just give him 4 years. But I would rather give him 4 or 5 years if I had to stay competitive than to sell Max Scherzer. He's the ace of the Detroit Tigers. Max Scherzer is probably the best pitcher in the American League. The only two pitchers that can hold a candle to Max Scherzer right now is Felix Hernandez and Yu Darvish. So I would give Scherzer 5 years, and I would give him $125 million. I should say $125 million for 5 years. That's 25, 50, 75, 100, 125. I wouldn't give him more than that. I wouldn't give him more years. 7 years for a pitcher is way too much, because they never go good. Now, I would gamble on Miguel Cabrera having it at the late 30s. Miguel Cabrera, at all costs. We keep Miguel Cabrera at all costs. I could gamble on that. But we gambled on Justin Verlander for 7 years and $200 million. That was plumb dumb. The smarter move would have been to serve on Verlander this year and sell Verlander as soon as he falls off even a little bit. We could have still had a top-notch prospect. And, well, 2 top-notch prospects and another prospect in return. A left-handed starting pitcher that has ace potential. Either a right-handed pitcher, a right-handed starting pitcher that has big game potential, that has at least a number 2 potential, or a third base prospect, that's major league ready, and yes, I would go for a left fielder. I would go for a left field prospect. Because let's tell the truth. Nick Castellanos, he's a DH. At the next level, he's a DH. So that's the truth. And that is all for the Detroit Tigers. This is Dangerous News Network. I'm Daniel McFarland.